Hi, everybody. Hi, Carolyn.
Hello, I'm so excited for today.
I am too. So we're ready for our theme. We didn't get our song yet, everyone, but here we
Yes,
go.
let's
Ready?
do
One,
it.
two, three.
Unordinary
Unordinary conversations
conversations
with Amanda.
with
Amanda.
and with Carolyn, and I am live from Detroit tonight.
Woohoo!
Woo!
I love it. Downtown, and I'm actually live from Bethlehem,
Downtown.
Pennsylvania, inside. I should go
I love
outside
it.
though. But we are so excited to be here. Last week, we did launch and tell you about our fabulous Unordinary Conversation notebooks. Woohoo! So I have
And
mine. I've been using it all week. It's near my computer.
and I don't have mine tonight just because I'm in a different location. But I want to tell you, Amanda, that I have shared it with several people, and they're like, "Okay, I want to buy it. I want to buy one. I want to
Yay!
buy one."
That's
So
awesome.
Amanda and I are going to figure out, or not figure out, but like we're going to put it for sale, and it's super affordable, or it
Hmm.
will be. And all we want to do is we're encouraging you to share your ordinary conversations in privately, right? Like if,
Hmm.
and that's, I guess, the purpose
Hmm.
of creating the journal is giving you
Absolutely.
our, right? We have our words of wisdom in it, but
Yeah.
we want you to add your words of wisdom, and I don't know,
Yeah.
make it awesome, publish it. I don't know, write a book, right?
Absolutely. I love it. And so I will, I'm going to put our episode 13, which is episode 13 this week.
Oh my God,
That's
it's my lucky 13. Yay!
it is 3 months and well, yeah, 3 months and 1 week here. And
Yes.
so we are going strong, but we are perhaps Carolyn, what I'll do is I can post a picture if you have a picture, and what we can do is we'll post pictures of ourselves, and then we'll on our little Unordinary Conversations with Amanda and Carolyn page, right? We have our own page, and we'll let you know, and we'll also be sharing on our other pages that we have this journal available for you, and you can watch us stuff and also have it. So we're going to do that soon, so that you have an opportunity to get this journal and start using it. How cool is that?
I love it.
All right, I love it.
Amazing.
I love it.
I'm super excited. You know how excited we are,
I know, very excited.
right?
So I know. So how about we go into lessons learned? Do you want to start? Or you want me to start with this?
I'm gonna start.
Okay.
I had a very interesting week, and I would say it, like at the extreme unordinary of listening to my gut and understanding what's going on. And I know that shouldn't be unordinary, but I think that um, knowing you're doing what's right can sometimes feel unordinary. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense to you, Dr. Amanda? Like,
Yeah.
right? And so I feel like I'm on a really healthy um, wave and I like that word because you always have references to water. I'm on a healthy wave to understanding what's going on with myself personally and professionally. And I don't know, I guess the last week I would say I'm like looking up and like succumb to um understanding and embracing and empowering myself to do what I know is right in my heart. And I think that sometimes what you know is right in your heart
Mm-hmm.
does not necessarily jive with what you should be doing on the flip side. I don't know. I don't know what the word is, right? Um, I just feel like I don't know. I don't know. I know I'm like off in another world here, but like I'm having it's more emotional for me. So that's why it makes it an ordinary conversation for me to have with you today, Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I need to let go. I need to let go, and I need to let things happen, and I need to let life be okay, because the last week has been here. Now I'm coming to it. And I'm sorry I'm taking up all our time, but
That's
I'm like,
okay.
I'm exhausted. Like the
Mm-hmm.
last week has been exhausting. It has been super exhausting, productive and amazing, but exhausting. And I think it's okay to have all those emotions wrapped up in one and have a financial payoff, and then also be struggling financially, which I am struggling financially right now. And it's just okay. And so I guess that's my mind. It's just okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just okay. Just okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I think I can relate, right, as we're going through this little wave, as you mentioned, and, not necessarily just with that, but, it's been an interesting week, Carolyn, in that there were a lot of emotions. I've had, these incredible, my book cover came out, so I've solidified my book. That was exciting. I started off with a completely different book cover, and my publisher said, yeah, it's going to be different. And I really wanted that one, and I realized that was just the beginning, showing me the coming out as a butterfly, right? Like when I had that vision. And
I love
now,
that.
I'm like completely, because I've had many years in hiding, right? In many different ways. It's not just metaphorical, it is literal, right? Like I've been in hiding, I've been not out, even though I talk, right? So this is more of my like, hey, this is who I am, this is my story, right? And the biggest way I've ever done to put myself on the cover was, I had no idea, right, that would happen. So nonetheless, with that, that was great. But I'm in this new internship, and what's interesting is, yeah, my PhD and everything else, but it's a new Carolyn's new skills, right? New learning, and it's a new system. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Like in my mind, I am excited about it, but it is new, right? It's a new way of thinking, although it's related to education. And so I was going through these waves, and I had to stop myself this weekend, right? Because sometimes, like, if you're not in the now, and I always talk about now, I
Mhm.
started to get overwhelmed because, there's a lot going on this upcoming week for me. And I was like, I really have been doing balance, right? I told you about my goal of walking. I did mostly the last couple of days. I've been tired, but I really want to do that for myself, right? Really want to, I have like a self-governance chart, right? And I'm going to start talking about it every week because I want to be on accountable, right? And say, hey, this is for me. It's because I love me. So anyway, there was a lot of emotions, even though I was doing this, and I realized I was getting ahead of myself, right? Like I'm trying to think of situations that are way ahead instead of enjoying the now, right? I can't do anything. I don't know what's going to happen in 6 hours or tomorrow. Like that's not within anything necessary. And so I started to get in that. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, what's the root of this, right? Like, what's the root of the anxiousness? And I realized because it's just, we only have today, right? We only have each moment. And even now, 1 second, it's done. Like we can never
Right.
get
It's
that
done.
second back. We
Right.
can't get it
Yep.
back.
I get it.
And
Yep.
so, for me, I talk about it, but I just wanted to be real, where I started to get this anxiousness, and I was like, okay, I'm identifying where it's coming from. And so, similar, to you, but maybe different is, there are these things, right? And even like with some things where, yay, I was going to have a potential client, right? But she had to do something else first before she joins me, right? So there's like all these different things where, you're out there, and I was like, you know what? But it's going to be okay, right? Like the people that are going to come will come, right? And everything's going to be okay. Like you said, it's going to all work out, even though in the middle, right, of this wave, we're not quite sure what's going on. And so I think, some of it I can relate to you, right? Which is the emotions and the processing and the saying, I'm going to stay in the now. Everything is, I'm going to continue one step at a time, right? In the celebrations and in the hard stuff. So I can totally relate to you in many ways to your week.
And I think that's why we have this show, is
Yeah.
that like we don't plan it. We just come together for these unordinary conversations, and they just kind of work out unfolding themselves into each other, kind of like I think, and I'm so not a baker or a cooker or in anything that has anything to do with the kitchen, but like it layers itself, right? Like when you think of pouring batter, it's like we just kind of layer our thoughts on top of each other, and they just turn out to be just awesome information that are the people listening to us can make their own. right? Because it's making
Absolutely.
the batter your own. Like,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. And I want to tell you something because I was listening and I agree with you. But when you were saying batter, I happened to look at the transcript, because sometimes I
Yeah.
like to see what it says.
Yeah.
So I think you came up with a new cake batter, Carolyn, not an ordinary cake batter you didn't know about. It said Singaporean batter
Oh
instead of
my God,
cake.
that's hilarious.
And
It's
I
our
think
new
it's
word,
hysterical because I've never heard of Singaporean batter, but
but it's ours.
of course.
That's the new batter,
I
baby.
know. So maybe
Singaporean.
we're like you were talking about the cake, so maybe yes, maybe you want to have some new flavor in your batter. So Singaporean batter it is, right? Goes up there with Brussels
Exactly.
sprouts. Maybe you put some Brussels sprouts in your batter. That would
Brussels
be
sprouts, right? And secret recipe. Right now, secret recipe still, right? Like we
I
can't
know.
share it yet.
We can't share it.
Secret.
Yeah. So anyway, it was just
It's so
funny.
secret.
It was
No, but
funny.
I agree. 100% I agree.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
oh my God. So I'm standing in downtown Detroit right now
That's
on a
beautiful.
little adventure with my son. And my
Okay.
son, who I have mentioned, is having I don't know, 25, 26-year-old person issues with
Hmm.
COVID and just life and growing up. And
Hmm.
I feel like I just want to say spend time with, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be your children, but people that you can influence. My heart goes out to spend time with people that you can influence and make a difference
Yeah.
and impact. And I feel like I've met a handful of people today through the experience with my son in downtown Detroit today, where I've passed out my cards and I've made, meaning me and my son, have made a difference because
Okay.
we've impacted lives. And Amanda, it's like when you had your car issue and you ran into all these people who were able to impact your life.
Yeah.
And so you can't, or not you can't. I hope you won't. That would be the right words. I hope you won't look at a down situation as a down situation. I hope you'll look at it as an opportunity to see what's presenting itself. And for myself today and the growth of my son, which is honestly like the core of what matters to me at this point in my life, is like we both made a difference. And being able to share that with you, Amanda, and being able to share it with our audience, I hope it'll make a difference in everybody's lives to just go to the park, talk to someone random, just right random. Like you talk to so many people random, Amanda, when your car broke down, right?
I
But
did.
that's what Alex
Yes.
and I are doing today. It's like we're just having
Awesome.
conversations, and they're unordinary, 100% unordinary. So that's I'm sorry. I'm
No, you don't have to
rambling,
be
but that's
sorry.
all I got. That's what I
I
got.
I love it. No, I love that. I love that you talked about that. And okay, so obviously we were talking a lot about our lessons learned, right? And you kind of shared about what you're doing now, because usually we ask about like, some question about like what we're doing, but you really shared
Right.
about what you were doing. And I think for me, like maybe it's a little unordinary because sometimes we each ask each other something from our past. We're kind of in the now.
Yes.
I
Yep.
would say for today, what I really learned, right, as I'm moving is I I got a confirmation yesterday from someone I didn't even know. It was really amazing. That was another encouragement about my book, right? Like that I had done this out of literally, I didn't expect to write this and share it with the whole world. But I am, and I got this encouragement from somebody I didn't even know. And it just was exciting, right? Because I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't even have this idea in the first place. So, like, I know that is going to impact people, but I think also it's impacting me because, there's something about like when you write a book, especially with the topic I'm writing, that a lot of people have a pseudonym, right? When you talk about trauma or something else, sometimes you hear people's stories, sometimes you don't. But it's literally, me saying to the world, I've gone through this. These are things I've overcome. These are things that perhaps aren't always shared. And guess what? There's hope. There is processes, there is hope. You know, if I could get through this and this is my story, you can too. You can keep dreaming again, right? There's dreams that are inside of each of us that sometimes get buried after we go through hard things. But I'm just here to share, right, with you that it's still possible to keep going even after it. So that was really my, what keeps me going, right? Is that, wow, look at the journey. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, look at the journey, look where you're at. And I think I'm in a stage, Carolyn, where I want my life to be balanced. Like I've decided, there's no more, I want to be active and purposeful. I don't want my days to be crazy busy, purposeful. But I've decided like I want the rest of my life to have purposeful time. There might be some busier days because of things I'm doing, but I really am intentional now, right? Like I'm like, I want to take care of myself in the morning, right? And do stuff. And I think I'm moving into a time now that I'm realizing that, right? Like with just this shift in my job and everything, that I want it to be purposeful, right? Like I want my days purposeful and I want to be able to have that rest time and have balance. And so that is my little takeaway, right, from maybe perhaps childhood to now, is that I've always kind of gone, but it wasn't always intentional. And I want my life to be intentional and purposeful and to move in a place of ease and not hustle. And that's my personal model. And so I'm learning how to do that, right? Like even deeper.
I love that. And the word that is actually, but this is what makes us the most amazing team, is hustle is my word, right? And so you need a break from hustle. And that's like awesome. Like, honest to God, awesome. And I hustle. And honest to God, I would say that the last few weeks have been exhausting and that I might need a break from hustle, but I'm still like learning through our conversations how to take a break from hustle, because I can't, because that's how I'm wired. And I share with our audience that you can take a break. And Amanda is I'm like using my hands with, I'm having exaggeration. And I'm like, seriously, like have a break. And I talk to myself and have a break. And I'm not ready. Like I'm getting ready and I'm understanding. And these are the unordinary conversations that we have that bring a different dimension to how I look at life, right?
Right.
And I'm just grateful and thank you.
I'm grateful for you too. And yeah, I think it's a journey. I mean, I think I've done a lot, in my life and now I'm learning. I think I guess when I say like the ease and flow is that it's like going from like a performance mindset and like um, doing everything out of my own strength to not doing that. And I think that has always been what I've done. And now it's like a different kind of, which I'll continue to talk about, right? A different stream of thinking and mindset. But yeah, I think as we're journeying, right, like right now, it kind of seems like as we've had this week, those waves that for me, I've done the wave and now I just want it like this, right? Like no matter what's happening. So that's my hope. But yeah, so Carolyn, we talked about that. I don't know if you have a quote that you want to
You
share.
know what? I'm standing like I am. I wouldn't say unprepared because I was extremely prepared, but I was not. Again, I'm in an unordinary situation where I had an opportunity to go out with my son and take him shopping for his birthday and be downtown.
Aww.
And so I'm not home where I have my quotations and my specific like backup and paperwork. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
okay.
gonna say unordinarily is support, like it's not a quote, but just support the people who will, like, they get you, like they do. I've made an impact. I'm in a crazy or not crazy, I'm in a atmosphere right now with my son, and it's like I'm making a difference and handing my card out to people who
Aww.
want to understand what I blog about.
That's cool.
And so I'm just like, put yourself, I guess my message is not a quote, but put yourself in unordinary situations so that you can share with people So they think outside of their own box.
Mm.
That's my message, because
Okay.
that's what's gone on tonight.
I love it. I love that you're doing that. I love that you're working. I actually wanted to think I looked up because I didn't have my quote yet. Sometimes I listen to our conversation and I think about it.
Right, you think of it, right?
I do, and I love that you had that. But mine is from Lucille Ball. I feel like I
love her.
I love her too, just because she's so hysterical and unordinary.
Right.
So anyway, hers is love yourself first, and everything else falls into line. You really have to love yourself to get anything done in this world. And I really think it's important for us to love ourselves, and then we can love others. So once we receive love, we can really be able to release it. And a lot of times, it took me a long time to actually learn how to receive love and learn how to love me. So I didn't love people very well, including myself. And now I feel like over time, it's just different. But I always feel like we can grow in love. You can never stop growing in love because we throw out love, and love is we throw it out there, but what does it really mean? It's very deep. It's not like what we usually say it is. So I just think it's important that we love ourselves because we have to spend time with ourselves 24/7. So that's my little message. As we're talking about, right, our emotions and the waves, and as we're talking about change, it's so important to love yourself in your changes. And when it's stagnant or when things don't seem like it's changing, to still love yourself, right? And that's like the key. So that would be my quote. And I love it. So Carolyn, we'll have to definitely before our next show, or maybe it's not before our next show, but in the works is our song. I've been thinking of some stuff, but we'll do a little rhyme or of reason. I love to do that kind of stuff. So we'll see what we come up with. Maybe some of our show stoppers, maybe Singapore batter and Brussels sprouts may get in there. But
no, that's awesome. And thank you for posting the Free to Be You and Me post for my birthday, because
yes,
there's a land that I see where the people are free. I know the words. I didn't know them when you put me on the spot, but I know them.
You sang for
awesome.
us.
Yay. And it's like we are super free and embrace life. And we will be back next week with
Unordinary conversations with Amanda
and with Carolyn.
So check out our page on Unordinary Conversations on LinkedIn so you can like or follow or both. Send us a message, give us feedback. And I'll also be noting we'll be posting pictures of our Unordinary Conversations journal that you can purchase. You can write down the fun little nuggets or your own thoughts about it. And certainly we will be back next week. And we also are excited because we have some in the works with some other things coming for what we've been doing. So thank you all for tuning in. Yes, we're excited. So take care, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Peace.
Peace and love. Oh, wait. Did it stop?
Oh, my God. I love you. I love you.
It's not stopping.
I know, but I love you. Let that play.
I can't stop pressing. The record's not stopping. What the heck is going on here?